Well, welcome back. You've had a chance to get an overview of the roadmaps and the models we're going to use in this course to guide our transformation process and to guide the work that we do on our DMP projects. So welcome back to our third session this week where we look at the course itself and how that's constructed. So we've been talking a lot about this gap between what's known and what's done in practice, and the exciting role that you as a DNP prepared health professional can play in mitigating this gap. We also talked about how crucial it is to have a sense of the desired future state, the place where we want to be, and compare that to where we are now to identify the gap, and how we're going to bridge that gap is completely dependent on the roadmaps we use. And so in this course, we're using two powerful roadmaps that have an evidence base behind them to guide you on your journey. So you're not alone, and you have some pretty powerful guides. Those help you to have a vision for what you're going to transform and how you're going to transform it. Because the roadmaps help you to organize your experience and put them together in a cohesive way. So the two roadmaps that we talked about were evidence-based practice and sustained transformation. The sustained transformation model is based off of the seed scale model by Taylor, Ide, and Taylor that we talked about. And we're looking at these portions in this course: the catalyst for change, principles for making the change stick, and how we actually go about doing that change in order to achieve innovative, just, sustainable change. And we also talked about Melnick's evidence-based practice model. And we're going to focus on the spirit of inquiry, framing a PICO question, and searching for the best evidence in Project 1. So collectively, those will guide your journey. So practically, how is the course designed? How is it set up? And how can you engage with the material for mastery? Well, anytime that we're going to be successful, we have to know the goal that we're shooting for, what we're trying to achieve. So one of the key pieces of how this course is designed is that it's focused on skills to transform practice. Whether that practice be bedside practice, leadership practice, population health practice, policy practice, program design, program evaluation, whatever that practice is, you need skills in order to transform it and make it better than it currently is. So that's how this course is designed. We want to focus on skill development. And in order to do that, we're going to be using these two models to guide the work that we do. But the models are not going to occur in isolation. We're not just interested in you learning cognitively what the model is, but very practically applying it to the context with your clinical partner. And finally, as you apply that roadmap in practice, that will equip you to transform that practice through your DNP project. So this is what the trajectory looks like, having that model roadmap to guide your work in the context in order to create transformation. And that's done so that there's a constant interplay between theory and practice. We're not just practicing without a theoretical model, and we're not just living in the world of theory without regard to practice. The two are playing off of each other constantly in real life, and throughout this course you'll see the same. And we also want to demonstrate in this course the powerful interaction between reflection and action. If we act all the time without thinking about it, we might act in a way that isn't optimal for our patients or populations. And if all we do is reflect, it doesn't ever translate into action. So we have to have these two working harmoniously. And that's why this course is designed with models and application activities. So how are you going to structure your time in this course? How's it designed? So the beginning of the course has a very heavy emphasis on reading and being exposed to these frameworks. So in the beginning of the course, you're going to invest a lot of time reading. But by about week 11, that reading is going to completely disappear. You're only going to be citing and going back to those readings as they're helpful for your application process. So reading and understanding is crucial to success in this course, and the front of the course is heavy on that side. Now on the application side, we begin immediately in the first week trying to apply some knowledge to our practice. We don't have a lot of theory-guided activities in the first week. It's mostly summarizing what you're thinking about and what your plans are. But the application of the knowledge goes up dramatically throughout the course. So this is a way to think about where your effort and energy will be throughout our time together. So let's take a look at the syllabus and see how that can guide us through our work. We'll talk briefly about the assignments, schedule, customized learning plans, and then the templates and rubrics and the evaluation grading process. So let's look at the syllabus to begin with. So here we are on the syllabus. It's broken up into 4 parts if you look at our agenda starting on page 3. So we're going to begin by looking at an introduction to the course. And if you're listening to this lecture in sequence, you'll see that we've already covered problems of our gap between what we know and what we do, a vision for how to transform health using these evidence-based models, and then looking at the course design, purpose, and philosophy, which is what we're doing today. So this table is set up to give you the week, the date the week starts on, which is Wednesday of each week, the key topic, and then specific details we'll cover, and in references and assignments. You'll see here there's a legend to indicate what information is contained in the far right column. The first item are in bold with asterisks are assignments. So that assignment, whatever's in bold with an asterisk, will have a drop box on Blackboard, a place for you to submit that assignment. In italics are the book titles that we'll be using. For example, here you can see Just Introduction in Chapter 1. So that's a reference to just and lasting change when communities own their future. So that's the black colored text from Taylor, Ide, and Taylor. Later on you'll see EBP in italics, and so that's Melnick's book on evidence-based practice. And it's followed by the chapter number. So here, Just 2 is Chapter 2, Chapter 20, Chapter 21, so on. And finally, there are a few references that are very helpful to be exposed to, but the course is not going to demand that you read every single word. And so those are marked here by skim, so that you know you don't have to read it all and internalize the detail. So if we look here at week 1, you can see in the introduction to the course, which is this 3rd lecture, part C, we talked about how the course is designed. And the objectives are designed to move you from simply having knowledge of the theory to applying it in practice, critiquing, analyze, synthesizing information. So Bloom's learning taxonomy is a helpful way to think about this course. We're trying to work for very high objectives on Bloom's taxonomy. And our second part of the course is focused on how to create vision for transformation, and that covers weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5, along with semester Saturday. Then we'll look in great detail at the process for transformation and the catalyst driving change, and we'll start that in week 6, and that will take us all the way through week 12. And in that period, we'll have 2 semester Saturdays. And then finally, we'll talk about how to evaluate the work that we do and expand it. That will be weeks 13 through 16. And in week 16, you'll present your final prospectus for your DNP program project. So that's a key overview of the syllabus schedule, and the assignments are shown there. The references are linked here in APA format, and along with a link to a talk by Duarte, which you'll need for later in the term, 2 manuscripts that you can get through the Emory Library, and then Bonnell's text on writing nursing practice projects, which would be a very helpful resource. We're not drawing on it explicitly in this course, but it will be a great place to turn and reference throughout your DNP program. So the next part I'd like to look at are the course policies. Here, the thing that I'd like to highlight is that the faculty in the DNP program view your learning as a partnership. You're in partnership with your clinical practice site. You're in partnership with faculty. And so I'd encourage you to read this, every single word, and internalize it. We really want to work together on your learning. But one of the key parts of this learning process is that at times you may have expertise that is different than members of your cohort. And we recognize that we all come in with different skills in different areas. So you're welcome to review the objectives for the course and the assignments. And if you feel like some of the assignments are lower on Bloom's taxonomy than you can perform based on your prior experience and knowledge and practice, you can review the assignments and the objectives, and you can make a proposal to faculty for alternative assignments that are higher on Bloom's taxonomy. I don't suspect that would be indicated for most learners in the project course, since this is an introduction to creating the project throughout your DNP program, but please, by all means, take the opportunity to review those and make sure that they're challenging and they're driving you to excellence. And the next part I'd like to highlight is that as professionals, we all expect that our colleagues will treat us with respect, and our work will be punctual to our peers and partners and to faculty. But certainly life happens at times, and there are times that that's anticipated or unanticipated. So you're encouraged to review the syllabus and the timeline for deliverables. And if there are deliverables that significantly conflict with things you know about in your life and practice, go ahead and write a custom proposal for deadlines. And that is outlined here. How you can propose alternative deadlines. You can submit that by next Wednesday if you'd like it to be considered. However, if life happens, practice happens, unexpected events occur, you can use item number 3 here to submit a request for a delayed assignment. It's always in your best interest to submit that request as early as possible. But certainly in emergency cases, that isn't possible. But in any case, if you haven't requested a customized learning plan by next Wednesday, then any assignment that is delayed will either receive the automatic point reduction in item 1, or you can write a formal APA essay requesting delayed submission. So be sure to read the guidelines here in number 3 if you need that resource. So the next item is templates, rubrics, and grading. So the assignments are divided into weekly engagement activities, professional feedback, presentation feedback rather, and your integrated project. The integrated project is 60% of your course grade. The weekly activities each are 2% of your course grade. And then some presentations and feedback circles are 8%. And those activities are described in a bit of detail here. I'd like to draw your attention next to the grading for the course. Since, as we talked about in our earlier slide, the course is designed to promote skill development, we're using Dreyfus's Likert scale of skill development from novice to expert. And that Dreyfus scale, the 0 to 5 scale here, is converted to an Emory letter grade and grade point. So this is the overall category breakdown. There's an itemized breakdown for every 1/10 of a point on Dreyfus' scale, how that converts to an Emory letter grade. That's posted online. So as we're focusing on skill development, we've taken a brief walk through the syllabus. Come back for part 2, and we're going to walk through the website.